Binge the full week of The Ray Taylor Show ad-free over at patreon.com/inspired disorder.
What you manifest in your mind, you can bring to reality.
Rona Dayz, episode 74, the show that will not quit, where I recap my week as it is existing within the Rona Dayz. It's been quite a week. It's been for me personally, emotionally, within my brain, it has been a relay race between anxiety and depression. It's just, I am so ready. Like, I'm feeling good today. I was feeling kind of anxiety. I forget what I was feeling yesterday. I don't know, but I feel good today, which is good. Maybe it's just because it's Sunday and I know I'm going to be busy all day and I don't have to think about anything. My brain can just do this, go on autopilot. I've got everything structured. But yeah, been a rough week. Tuesday, the internet went out, having internet problems. It's like one thing after another. Don't know what the issue was. But thankfully, I had a couple movies downloaded on my iPad because it's not the first time there's been internet problems. But yeah, so thankfully I had that. So I spent Tuesday night watching Stand By Me, which I had thought I had seen. Just existing in the world and seeing pop culture, I must have manufactured a memory of watching the movie. But at no point do I remember, like, the movie. And maybe I did, like, when I was young. I had to have seen it at some point. But it's like, it wasn't a movie that I had growing up. But if I did have it growing up, I clearly would have watched it all the time. Beautiful movie. I understand why people love it. It's a classic. In a lot of ways, similar to Goonies, but more realistic. It's not supernatural, despite the fact it's based on Stephen King. I think it's like a Stephen King short story. But, simple movie. Just a group of friends in, 12, 13 years old going to see a dead body. So kid's missing. And, they found it. And it's also these younger kids, but then it's also the older kids, which are the antagonists, really, in a lot of ways. Just the bullies. But a simple story of these kids on their journey to go see, and they like plan it out. It's going to take a few nights. They're going to go camping. Just beautiful wilderness that they're going through. But yeah, I enjoyed it. I loved it. And it was great. Like the way it all wraps up, like the lead character wants to be a writer, and it's told from like the point of view of him in the future, and it's actually him writing a book about his time with his friends, and there's like voiceover and stuff. Like it was beautiful. It was a beautiful movie. Really enjoyed it. Not super long either. It was like 90 minutes. So I don't know. Like in my brain, it was also like an 2.5 hour long movie. Like I don't know. Like, I had a complete fabricated idea of what Stand By Me was. I don't know why. I wasn't confusing it with Lean on Me. It's a completely different movie. But yeah, Stand By Me, I watched that. Internet's still not going good. But I had another one that I had never seen. Sex, Lies, and Videotape. Who directed that one? That's a Steven Soderbergh. I think it was like one of his first films. It was like kind of the first independent film. Also great. I was really tired by the time this one finished. I really had to push to stay awake to see how it all ends. But it's interesting. It's like this guy, old friend, comes into town, and he's like a weird artist dude, and he has. He goes from town to town, having like it's basically the first podcaster in a lot of ways. He records these conversations with women, and they talk about sex, but they're only for his private use, and it's kind of the thing that he gets off on sexually. Like he's unable to perform sexually with another person, probably because of his addiction to this kind of self-made porn. But yeah, great. Kind of, it's got, was it Spader? David Spader? The guy that was in all the, like, 90s erotic thrillers. Um, but yeah, great. Like I see why people really like it. It's really well written, simple movie, only like 4 characters, 2 locations maybe. Um, but yeah, super good. So I watched both of those movies while the internet was out, and it was kind of a nice, when you're forced, when you only have a couple options, which is it's I can't, like, when the internet was going out, I couldn't help but think of how how mindlessly impossible it would have been to go through a quarantine without the internet, right? And you think about the first pandemic that happened, the Spanish flu, back in early 1900s, whenever that happened. They didn't have internet. You had books. I don't even know if they had, maybe radio, no TV. Just that would have been like crazy. You can't go out and see anybody. I mean, I don't know what they did. I know they wore masks, but yeah, I can't imagine, like, all of the people that can't handle being quarantined as it is with all the amenities. I mean, like, if this happened 10 years ago, there wouldn't have been, well, I guess maybe there was Netflix around. Like, you had the DVD delivery service of Netflix, YouTube, but they didn't have like all the streaming services they have now. It would have been rough. Like, we're living in a time where not only can you work from home, but you can like get all forms of entertainment from home. Like, all the first run movies getting released through HBO. So it's, why even go to a movie theater? Um, but yeah, I couldn't help but think about that, because it's like, oh, I only have like 2 movies I mean, I had a few, but those were the 2 that I felt like, okay, I watched these. Um, but yeah, I was like, whoa. I mean, read books, yeah, sure. Probably reading a lot of books. I would imagine. I've also been watching not a bunch, but slowly going through Kurosawa films, which is another hole in my movie, like, watching knowledge library, whatever you want to call it. I've never watched his movies. And of course, he's one of the greats. So I watched Seven Samurai, which is long. It is like 3.5, 4 hour long movie. Um, has an intermission, which I kind of enjoy the intermission. Like, before the intermission, it's all of this setup. Like, the idea is, like, there's these farmers in Japan, and there's these criminals that come through, and they steal all their money, and steal all their food, and it's just these poor farmers that don't know how they're going to survive if they get marauded again. So they decide to hire some samurai to help protect the farmers and the crops and everything. So the first part is like them assembling the crew, because they didn't know how they're going to get samurai. They don't have money. All they can do is feed them. But all they had to do, they convinced one, and then it was like just a slow process after that. Once they got one, then two, then three, and they kind of added up. And then it was like, then once they got all the samurai, then they had to like prepare. Like, how are we going to fortify these houses and farms, to keep people out, and to focus them where we need to focus them. And then after the intermission, it's the battle. And it's like the whole half of that second half is just them in battle with, these invaders. It's great. It's great. And I also watch Rashomon, which is super interesting. It's basically like, it's almost like a noir film, like an investigator, but also this old school Japan, time, and it's like showing you the story of what happened through the lens of multiple characters' perspectives. Super, like, you don't see that kind of storytelling. You barely see that kind of storytelling in modern films, and it looked beautiful. I mean, it was shot great, all in black and white, both of them. But yeah, I'm excited to kind of go through his library of films. I started Ron, but I didn't finish it, which I guess that's based on Shakespeare play. So who knows? Who knows? I enjoy it. I really have to be in the mood because they're long films, and obviously in Japanese, and so I have to read, and I have to be in the mood to. But once I get into it, once I get into the movie, and I just stop thinking about the fact that I'm reading subtitles. It just goes, and so I've enjoyed at least the two that I've watched so far. Slowly getting through them. And then it's been nice also this week because it's finally cooling down. Like there was a breaking point, and then it's finally like when I go take my dog on a walk at night, it's not 100 degrees at midnight. It's cooling down pretty good, which is nice. So I'm thankful that things are finally cooling down. I can stop. I mean, I'm still waking up in a pool of sweat, constantly sweating, always. But I'm looking forward to I'm looking forward to that, but also just opening the windows and doors and just getting fresh air and just kind of, because I'm stuck in this room, just making stuff, watching movies, trying to make income to survive when the money runs out, So just still doing it, but anxiety, depression. Feeling good today. And I ordered some supplements. I've taken valerian root in the past, which I enjoy. It's used for like as a sleep aid, but it definitely helps relax you. And I've taken that a couple times, like last summer when I was having a bunch of probably the worst anxiety of my life, and then followed by depression, but anxiety was the worst. I was taking that a lot because it was like it's the only thing that could calm me down that I had access to. It's like I don't have any health insurance, I can't get any prescriptions for anything, I can't see a doctor, so I'm just trying to self-medicate with what I have available. So I did a lot of valerian root, so I ordered more of that. Just to help on the days when I have anxiety. And then there's this other supplement called cacao, not cacao. It's like some weird, I forget it, but it's another like for anxiety. So I'm going to try both of those and see how they help just kind of curb it. Which is tough because they do make me tired, but even if I take them at night, hopefully the residual will help me through the next day. I don't know. Just trying to find ways in which I can help myself with given the means that I have. But yeah, that's it. I hope everybody else is having a great week. Make sure you wear your masks. Get vaccinated. Let's make sure to vote no on recalling Gavin Newsom. We can't have some Republican controlling California. Like there's one guy that wants minimum wage to be $0. It's like, okay, let's just the ideas of the Conservative Party are just insane. But yeah, a lot of things. Just stay safe. Be smart, stay safe, do your thing. Take care. Get yourself $25 in new credit when you sign up for your great new cell phone service over at Ting. Go through my link, inspireddisorder.com/Ting. Sign up now with that link, and you get yourself $25 to put towards a new device, put towards your service. But it's a great quality service that you do not pay an arm and a leg for. I love it. I've been using it for years and pay so very little. I could almost pay 2 months of my cell phone bill with $25 credit that you get for free when you go through my link, inspireddisorder.com/Ting. That's TING, inspireddisorder.com/Ting. New episodes of The Ray Taylor Show come out every single day. Subscribe on IGTV, YouTube, and everywhere else podcasts are found. Binge the full week ad-free over at patreon.com/inspireddisorder. Buy Ray Taylor Show merch over at inspireddisorder.com and follow the show on Instagram at Ray Taylor Show. Have a wonderful day, everybody. Peace out!